Once upon a time, in a quiet corner of the kingdom, lived a kind-hearted girl named Cinderella. Her real name was Ella, but everyone called her Cinderella because she was always covered in soot and ash from working near the fireplace. But once, long ago, her world was filled with sunlight. Her mother, Lady Evelyn, was the gentlest soul in the land. She had a voice like birdsong and a smile that made flowers bloom. Evelyn would braid Cinderella's hair and whisper, "You are not just my daughter, you are a light, and no darkness can put out your glow." Every morning, they would plant roses together. The garden became their magical escape, a world of color, scent, and love. But seasons change, and one harsh winter, Evelyn fell ill. The roses stopped blooming. One morning, Cinderella woke up to silence. Her mother was gone, leaving behind only a single white rose. That day, her home turned cold. Her father, lost in grief, remarried a woman named Lady Mirana, who brought along her two daughters, Priscilla and Jezebel. At first, they wore smiles and called Cinderella sister, but it didn't last. Lady Mirana didn't like the way Cinderella's eyes still sparkled. She hated the way the house still smelled of Evelyn's roses. So slowly, she changed everything. The garden was torn down, Evelyn's pictures were burned, and Cinderella was moved to the attic. "You belong with the ashes," Mirana said. Every day, Cinderella scrubbed floors, washed dishes, and cooked meals, while her stepsisters painted their nails and gossiped about the prince. Priscilla was cruel with words. Jezebel was cruel with silence. They mocked Cinderella's old dresses, laughed at her bare feet, and even locked her out in the rain once. But through it all, Cinderella never raised her voice. Not once, because in her heart, her mother's voice still whispered, "Kindness is your crown." One day, an invitation arrived, a grand royal ball. The prince would choose a bride. The sisters squealed and demanded new gowns, new shoes, and even silk fans to look richer. Cinderella helped sew their dresses, her fingers bleeding from the thread. She longed to go too, not to marry a prince, but just to feel alive again. When she asked Mirana, the answer was a cruel laugh. "You? At the palace? You'd embarrass the chandeliers." One day, an invitation arrived. A grand royal ball. The prince would choose a bride. The sisters squealed and demanded new gowns, new shoes, and even silk fans to look richer. Cinderella helped sew their dresses, her fingers bleeding from the thread. She longed to go too, not to marry a prince, but just to feel alive again. When she asked Mirana, the answer was a cruel laugh. "You, at the palace? You'd embarrass the chandeliers." The night of the ball, they left her alone, sitting by the fireplace, tears falling silently. But as the clock ticked past 8, something strange happened. The ashes in the fireplace shimmered. The wind rustled, and from the shadows stepped a figure cloaked in light, a fairy godmother. "You carry pain in your heart, child," she said, "but you never let it turn you bitter. That kind of magic deserves to be seen." With a swirl of silver and stardust, Cinderella's rags became a gown of moonlight. Her slippers sparkled like stars. For the first time in years, she smiled. At the palace, the world stopped when she entered. The prince danced only with her. She didn't speak of pain or the attic. She just danced like someone who had remembered how to fly. When she ran at midnight, she left only a glass slipper behind. Days later, when the prince came searching, the stepsisters tried everything to force their feet in. But when Cinderella stepped forward, the shoe fit like a dream. The prince saw her, truly saw her, and said, "You're the one who dances through ashes." Cinderella didn't just become a queen. She rebuilt her mother's garden, planted 1,000 roses, and never forgot who she was. Not just a girl in rags, not just a princess, but a light that survived the shadows.